Very good morning to all of you. It's my great pleasure to share this session, plagiarism and academic integrity. So when we talk about plagiarism, normally we are getting some sort of fear in our mind because our MHRD is insisting on so many qualitative measurement with respect to plagiarism and other publication ethics parameters. So we are having several things in our mind when we talk about plagiarism and other academic integrity process. So before going to talk about this topic, so I just want to clarify some of the important thing like we are very much fond of publishing in various journals and other publication sources. Before that, we should understand where to publish and what to publish and how to publish. This is where we are all getting lagged over. So particularly the session will address you. So what kind of tools can be used for plagiarism and how this plagiarism happens, how to avoid that, and what are all the techniques you can follow to avoid plagiarism, and what are all softwares are available for you to check the plagiarism. This is what the core area I just want to touch up. Add on to this, I'm going to talk little bit about so what is the basic research indicators you should aware, and is there any other way to identify the right journals for publication. The right journals normally they don't allow the plagiarized content. So the predatory journals normally allows you to publish the content which are all published and which are all done by using CCP. That means cut, copy, paste. It allows any content which you are doing that. And also they will promising the rapid publications. So how to avoid this predatory journals? This also I am going to explain you. And this is the overall content outline. You are going to see, that means research indicators, how to identify the predatory journals, plagiarism, and what are the types of plagiarism happens, how to avoid that, and there are tools to check the plagiarism, and also certain case studies also we are going to see anyway. How important the citations are. You can see the images. The images talked about what is the value of citation. How many articles we are publishing is not a matter. Whether it is getting citation or not, that is a matter. So you can see the first image like I was published a couple of years ago in a crap journal, but nobody is citing me. So he is anguished little bit because he is publishing a good number of articles, but it is not at all getting cited. And the second guy who is having some sort of smile like I was published a couple of years ago in a mid-tier journal. I have got slightly more citation than expected. So which journal we published is a matter here. And the third guy who has published recently in a good journal and the expected citations are received. And the fourth guy who is very clear, he was published recently in a good journal and he is getting a lot of citation. And in which journal you are publishing your article is a real scenario which makes more citations for your research work. So citation is very much important. And what is the other basic indicators you should aware while we talk about publication and plagiarism? That is called H-index, impact factor, FWCI, and Plumx metrics. What is this H-index? H-index is the important element and parameter we can call it as to measure the quality of the author. Don't get confused H-index and impact factor. Impact factor is the element or the qualitative parameter to measure the quality of the journal. So H-index is for the researcher or faculty or the author. Impact factors for to identify the quality of the journal. And what this FWCA and Plumx metrics is. FWCA is nothing but field weight citation impact. In that particular field, your article has created any impact or not. That can also be calculated, and that are all nowadays considered by the accreditation bodies. And PlumX metric is something interesting because we are all totally bound with the social medium. In that social networking medium, if your article has created any impact or not, that can also be calculated, and this can also be taken account by the accreditation bodies. So some basic research indicates that we should aware. Based on that, we need to publish our article. And why it is important to publish in high impact factor journals? You can select publish or perish. How much you are publishing is not a matter. It should be getting citation. If it is not getting any citation, there is no value for that. So you need to take a very clear cut idea where to publish. In order to get the greater visibility of your research findings, you should publish your articles in high impact factor journals. And increasing the chance of citations to get a greater recognition among the peer reviewed group, and to associated benefits such as promotion and productivity allowances, etc. We need to get your article published in a right and good impact factor journals. Why? Now, if you want to apply for any project from DST or DBT or any other funding agencies, even from Government of India and as well as in abroad, you need to publish. You are supposed to give all your published work before applying for any proposal. So in that, they will be considering whether it is published in a tier A journal or it is a Scopus Index or Web of Science Index journals. This is what considered. So that's why MHRD and other accreditation bodies are so keen on publishing your articles in a high impact factor journal. This is why this is very much important. Whenever you plan to publish, you need to consider it should be published in a high impact factor journals. And points to be considered before publishing. That should be targeted at the audience, prestige of the journal and your own institution, and access. When we talk about access, open access or subscribed access. Don't think that open access means people will copy your content and it can be utilized for their article. Once you have published, the publisher has to take account of the work. You are not at all a owner for your work. It should be copyrighted under the publisher's view, not with yours. When you are publishing in open access, you will be getting more citation. Your article will be cited more. All the people will be getting access to cite your article. So when you talk about publishing, please be considered publishing in open access instead of publishing in subscribe, because for subscribe content, all the people don't have access for that. But for open access article, all those people can access. If your article and your research problem is noble and result oriented, obviously it will be cited. You need to have a mind in all days that in which access you want to publish, whether it in open access or in subscribe. And also on payment, some people are publishing in payment basis also. And you need to consider impact factor of the journal, which is a very much important parameter, and probability of acceptance and publication time. The predatory journals having the criteria like if you want to publish your article tomorrow, if you are sending article today, immediately your article getting published by tomorrow means that's a predatory journal. So they don't have any standard peer review procedure. Whenever you are ready to pay money, immediately they will publish your article. So that is the criteria you need to think about when you publishing your article. It should be reviewed by the peer team, and there is a standard time of publication you should give. If it is not happening anymore, then that journal comes under the predatory journals. Then where to publish? You may have a question like some. Then in that criteria, where I can publish my article? So I am giving you certain solutions, like you can take several sources like Clarivate Analytics provides journal citation report from Web of Science, and Scopus is one of the platform, and it is provided by Elsevier. They are providing a platform called SciMago Journal Ranking and SciWall Journal Ranking. These are all freely accessible platform to publish your journal article in a reputed journal. These are all give you a clear-cut picture about the performance of the journal by time to time. So it won't be getting any reluctant data. So we will be getting an authenticated source of publication. And you can take the Google Scholar data also, like POP. That data can also be taken for publishing your journal articles. So these are some important sources in open access where you can publish your article. And promotion of your research visibility. This is another important area, like in which journal you are publishing, what kind of parameter you need to consider as like. So what are the promotion of research visibility you need to consider? Like if you want to a good visibility of your research work, you should have a research profile in various research information systems called Google Scholar, ResearchGate, and ORC ID, Scopus ID, and Web of Science ID. Google Scholar ID, many of you have already created, and you can search your academic search engine. It is called as academic search engine. You are able to get more citation once your article published online. And ResearchGate is another research information system where you can create a very good network with your peer group and likely minded network people here. And ORCID is called as a unique Aadhaar ID for the publication industry. Like if you want to publish any article, this is the unique Aadhaar ID for publication. Why they have implemented this ORCID, you should know that. Because you may be published n number of articles, n number of publishers, and n number of journals. You may have your initial as a prefix or suffix that may vary by time, by journal to journal, and institution to institution. It may vary. In that context, this ORCID will take account of all these changes in a single umbrella, and all your work can be grouped together, and every author or every researcher will get a single ID for all their research work. This can be considered for their research visibility. That is called ORC ID, that is Open Researcher Contributor ID. And Scopus ID, above Science is nothing but in order to publish an article with Scopus and above Science, you need to create an ID that can be aligned with this ORC ID automatically. So you will be getting good number of citation, and your work will be considered for the good journals. So what is the target? Many papers are rejected simply because they don't fulfill the journal requirement. They don't even go into the peer review process. So in order to understand, you need to identify a few possible target journals or series, but be realistic. Follow the author guidelines, scope, type of paper, word length, and reference style, etc. This is where we are lagging normally. Find where to send your paper, and your editor, regional editor, subject area editor, check a copy of the journal, series of the publisher's website, and come to a conclusion whether we are going with that or not. Send an outline or abstract and ask if this looks suitable and interesting. Confirm how an editor would like a submission as a hard copy as well as in the journal providing platform. Read at least one issue of the publication. Visit your library for access. These are the main thing you should understand. And this is the process of your acceptance of the journal which you need to aware. Don't think that rapid publication is a good journal. Who promised for rapid publication, they are called as a predatory journals. So taking the publisher decisions from the editor to end receiver. So they used to get a normal minimum of 3 to 6 months to review an article. So this is the percentage of review process you should understand. Don't have a mind like I am publishing my article within a short span of time. This is not at all possible. If you say that this is possible, then it maybe comes under the predatory journal. And this is one of the solutions I just want to give to avoid the predatory journals. Bayard's predatory list. From this site, you are able to understand the predatory journals by time to time in each and every discipline. And these are the basic criteria to understand and determine whether it is a predatory journal or the right source. The scope of the interest may not be properly mentioned, and the website contains spelling and grammatical errors. Images are distorted, and they may not be unauthorized. They may be using some very good language to target the authors, but that is not at all a true one. And they may mention like this journal is indexed in some index value like index Copernicus. Don't believe that. Description of the manuscript handling process is lacking. Manuscripts are requested to submitted via mail. There is not a proper platform to upload your article. Nowadays, all the reputed journal platform is very clear. They have a very good online journal accepting platform and submitting platform. Your journal should be processed in that way. If it is lacking, then you can come to a conclusion like that is a predatory journal. Rapid publication is promised. Without mentioning any time, they will be promising for publishing your articles. There is no retraction policy. Information on whether how journal content will be digital preserved is abnormally all your content need to be preserved. You will be getting a DOI number for your journal article. If it is missed, you are not able to find that, then that is a predatory journal. The article processing charge is very low. Like if you pay 3,000 rupees or 2,000 rupees, your article will be published. Someone is promising like that. Don't believe that fellow. And journal claiming to be open access either retain copyright of published research or fail to mention the copyright. The contact address email will be like Gmail, Yahoo Mail, and Reddit Mail like that. If it is having any without have domain ID, is there any email mentioned in that way? Don't believe that. These are all the criteria for determining the predatory journals. And now you can ask me, is there any proper way to identify this is the right, is there any proper source to identify the right journal? So these are the sources called Journal Citation Report, DOAJ, or the two prominent source I can tell you to find out the right journal for your research paper. And in online also there are so many tools are available. Here one of the tools by University of Illinois, like digitalcommons.lme.edu. They have a very good online tool to identify the right journal. Scholarly open access journal, if you want to identify, this is the source from where you are able to identify the open access scholarly journals. Some journals, many of the journals are having like, they have been promoted in that way, like they have global impact factor, quality impact factor, Indian impact factor, international impact factor, like that. But that is not true. They are all fake impact factor providers. Even they have mentioned with a very good clear value like 16.7, 18.9 like that. But in India, apart from current science, there is no other journal is having impact factor value not more than 0.05. So these are all the fake impact factor providers. Don't believe that. Some more examples for this fake impact factor like global impact factor, advanced studies index, site factor, scientific journal impact factor, measure of journal quality. There are so many people are there like this. So don't believe this. Is there any other method to verify? So Committee on Publishing Ethics has clearly mentioned like the source where you need to refer. DOAJ, Directory of Open Access Journal, Journal Online, and Open Access Scientific Publications. This you need to refer. And some of the useful journal selection databases like Journal Citation Report, Scimago Journal Ranking, Cabell's Directory, Elsevier Journal Finder, Jane, MLA Directory of Periodicals. These are some journal selection databases you can refer, which are all at open access. So no need to worry about paying money at all. Now I am going to the second important area called plagiarism. So the image itself depicts you clearly from where the knowledge is getting stolen. So this is what different knowledge is stolen by using a medium called computer and internet. We are able to copy some other content. Is it good? Why, what, and how? So this is what the ideology which you are going to discuss. Normally, you are all very much familiar with this word called plagiarism. That is simply this intellectual theft or kidnapping. Okay. Well, whether we are doing it deliberately or accidentally. So rewriting from books or articles, copying and pasting from web pages, and online sources to create a patchwork writing. That's what we need to mention. Patchwork of writing, buying, downloading, or borrowing a paper. These are all done deliberately. We know, and we are doing that. We know from where we need to copy, for which purpose we are doing that. We are very clear on the purpose, and we are doing that. That's why it's called as deliberate plagiarism. And some of are called as accidental plagiarism. That is, without knowing, you will be copying, right? In which way it happens? Not knowing when and how to cite. So whenever you are writing a review of literature, you don't know. So where to mention that, and you may forget to mention in the reference area. So that's why it is called as accidental plagiarism. Not knowing how to paraphrase or summarize. Some of the idea can be interpreted in your own language. How to do that? You miss to paraphrase, then it comes under accidental plagiarism. Not knowing what common knowledge is. This is another important thing. So what are the common knowledge we need to have when we write a paper? That is also you need to be considered. Recycling and old paper. These are all happening as accidental plagiarism. And do not make a big deal out of it. However, consider when preparing a manuscript, less than 10% of your article should be quoted from other sources. That's very much important. You need to understand less than 10% of your article should be quoted from other sources. Always paraphrase when you want to quote from other sources. So try to write in your own language. Don't copy the same and put it in your own paper. That is not at all. Even self-plagiarism, you may write, but it should be paraphrased in a different way. This is what I am mentioning here. Copy from a single source, and you will be copying the same thing as like what happening Symphony by Beethoven. And copying from several sources, like you will be taking different kind of sources and you copy from different URL, and you will be tailor-made content can be prepared within a fraction of time. Paraphrasing as like repeating, rephrasing, restate, reiterate. This is also happening here. Self-plagiarism. You are owner for your content, but after some time you are copying the same content for your next article. That is also comes under self-plagiarism. That is also violated. You need to think about different forms of plagiarism, like turning in someone else's work as your own. That is called as a ghost writer. Without doing any changes, you just want to change the name of the author. That should not be done. Copying words or ideas from someone else without giving a credit. That means acknowledgement. You are not ready to give the acknowledgement and mention in the reference area. Then automatically it will comes under the plagiarism. Failing to put a quotation in the quotation mark. Whenever you mention any quotation or definition, it should be in the proper punctuation mark. If you forget that, then obviously it comes under plagiarism. Giving incorrect information about the source of quotation. So from where the particular quotation has been taken out, that you need to mention properly. Changing words but copying the sentence structure of source without giving a credit, that is also comes under plagiarism. There are different forms of plagiarism. Copying so many words or ideas from a source that it makes up a majority of your word, whether you give credit or not. E-plagiarism, copying ideas from the text material from the web without giving any proper accreditation. Digital plagiarism is a term different way. Using computers, you are copying the content from one system to another. And practice of the author using portions of their previous writing on the same topic on other publications. The practice is widespread and at times unintentionally it happens, violates the copyright that has been assigned to the publisher, because we are not worried about the copyright violation. Whenever we are able to find any information, we try to take that information without any acknowledgement. That's why it comes under copyright violation. No consensus with whether this is a scientific misconduct. That is also there. Now, plagiarism issues are strictly related to copyright issues, though there are too many overlaps. The copyright is a legal concept, plagiarism literally and more often ethical issue. You should know the difference between the plagiarism and copyright here. And what's the trend in plagiarism? This is what. Why people are plagiarizing? They are supposed to be plagiarized. This is the reasons. Pressure to publish, lack of enforcement, lack of knowledge, and lack of time to influence others, competition, and fear of failures. These are all the major area why people are plagiarizing. This is the factors we can call it as ignorance, lack of knowledge on ethics, pressure from the seniors, and ambition to face the competition. I want to publish more article with the other guy, and my institution pressurized me to publish more article within the short span of time. So these are all the area which makes us to plagiarize. It need to be considered. And scenario on plagiarism, this you need to be very much clear. Article spinning. Now there are so many tools are available to change the article. Like instead of this article, you can put another article which gives the same meaning. We thought like that. So the article spinning is the most popular technique nowadays for creating the plagiarized scholarly published articles. That is called as, we thought it won't catch in the plagiarism software, but nowadays the softwares are very smart enough. It clears from where this data and the particular word has been copied and how it's pinned. That is also able to find out. Now there are so many article spinning softwares are available, and word Tintler softwares are available. People are using that too, but that is not the right solution. So you need to think about that. Automatic rewriting can change the meaning of the sentence through the use of words with similar but subtly different meaning to the original. That is for some example I have mentioned here. The word picture could be replaced by a word called image or photo. Thousands of word combinations are stored either a text file or database thesaurus to draw from. This ensures that large percentage of words are different from the original article. In some of the article you need to suppose to mention image. Some of the article you need to mention that it's a picture. So if you are not able to do that, you are using any article rewriting techniques, it may be creating several issues as like follows. The problem with some of the automatic writing that can be recognized the context or grammar in the use of words and phrases. For example, Great Britain could be autospurners, Good Britain. You think about that. Is there any meaning in that? That is what you need to think about. Now, article spinning is chiefly used as a dishonest tool for search engine optimization. There are software packages and websites that will spin the text for free in some cases. Its use, as described here, is a repurposing of the technique and offers researchers a way to get scholarly publication without having to do any real work. So you need to be very much conscious whenever you are doing this article spinning techniques. And this is the gazette which has been released for plagiarism. UG is very clear, has given a very good clear cut instruction like two research paper has to be published before PhD, and for that you need to have processing time of 1 to 6 months. It need to be avoid the predatory journal publishers, while the academic researchers to be very serious on the quality publishing in the quality journals. And for APA score also it has been considered. UG's move is very clear. Your article need to be gone through a plagiarism writing software. Then only it is accepted, and large number of authors has to get a clear-cut reviews and comments from the peer-reviewed group from the journal articles and also from the peer-reviewed journals. And what is the penalty? That you have a clear-cut instruction on what is the penalty they are going to receive. For the level 0, that means it is accepted percentage of 10% of similarity, that means minus similarity, and the level 1 has 10 to 40%. So student is supposed to revise the script within a standard stipulated time not exceeding 6 months. Level 2, it means similarities between 40 to 60%. The student shall be debarred from submitting a revised script for a period of 1 year. And level 3 is nothing but 60% of the students or registration can be cancelled. So this is the percentage they have mentioned with respect to the significance of plagiarized content. It's not only for that. For the students for alone they have not considered. For the faculty also they have mentioned clearly like, so what is the level of penalty they have. They have mentioned here like this. How to avoid the plagiarism? The techniques which we are going to reveal is try to paraphrase and mention in your own language. So go through the whole article or the whole paragraph and try to make use of it in your own language. If you do that, then it can be avoided. Okay, this is what we used to mention. And second major point is try to give a credit. Don't take that every ideas concepts are derived by me and given by you, so it should be avoided. And quotations used to be properly used whenever it's required, and try to paraphrase and summarize your idea with a proper acknowledgement. And this is the thing: attribute the references, describe all the source of information, give a proper acknowledgement, provide footnotes, use quotation marks wherever required, paraphrase the original attributed work. For extensive quotation, try to make use of from where, with what is the original source you have collected that need to be mentioned. Obtain permission for the use of published drawings and illustrations also. Like this is the example. For indirect MLA quotation need to be given in that way. Some researchers note that children are totally insensitive to their parents' shyness. It can be quoted in that way. Children are totally insensitive to their parents' shyness. And when I am writing this paraphrasing technique, some researchers have observed that children seem unaware that parents are considered bashful. So this is the way you can write. Like APA. And what do I need to cite? This is very much important. So direct quotations, summaries, paraphrases, statistics, charts, graphs, diagrams, controversial interpretations, research of others' work. So all need to be cited properly if you have mentioned in your research work. If you miss that, automatically it will come under plagiarism. There are different types of plagiarism may appear. Like the whole content, if you are doing by word to word, then you may be called as a ghostwriter. The photocopy or potluck paper, based on the percentage of plagiarized content and the nature of plagiarism, it can be called in a different word called poor discourse, labor of laziness, self-stealer. These are the words you can, terminologies you can find when it is reviewed properly by the reputed journals. The peer-reviewed authors may mention in this way, like forgotten footnote, the misinformer, too perfect paraphrase like that. They will be mentioning some technical words like this. They are all called as a different types of plagiarized people, like resourceful citer, perfect rhyme like that. And how to paraphrase, as I mentioned clearly, to try to mention in your own language, and author's responsibility and preparation of submission of manuscript. Ensure the work is new and original research. All authors listed are must aware of submission and agree that the content and support for submission. Agree that the manuscript can be examined by anonymous reviewers. Provide copies of related works submitted or published elsewhere, and obtain copyright permission if figures tables need to be reproduced, and include proper affiliation also. What can be published? Journals like published papers that are going to be widely read and useful to the readers. So in that context, paper that report original and significant findings that are likely to be the interest to the broad spectrum of its readers. Papers that are well organized and well written with a clear-cut statements regarding how the findings relate to and advance the understanding development of the subject. Papers that are concise and yet to complete in their presentation of the findings. And what is not acceptable? Papers that are routine extension of previous reports, do not appreciably advance fundamental understanding or knowledge in the area, will not be accepted. Incremental fragmentary reports of research results will not be accepted. Verbose, poorly organized papers cluttered with unnecessary poor illustration will not be accepted. Violations of ethical guidelines, including plagiarism of any type or any degree, will not be accepted. Thus, different tools are available to check. Here I am going to explain you in different way called what are the commercial tools are available for checking the plagiarism, and what are all the open source, that means free tools, are available to check the plagiarism. These tools, first I will talk about open source tool. This tool can be categorized in a different way called that. One is called web-based tools, another one is called desktop tools. Desktop tool means you have to install it and you can run your paper here. And in web mode means by giving your credentials, Google credentials, it can be run online. So these two different tools can be run together. First, what I'm going to tell you right now is what all the free tools are available now. One of the tools which I am going to tell you is all the top rated tools, open source tools, which normally used for checking the plagiarism, like DupliChecker. DupliChecker is one of the tool which can be used. It can be free of charge and ease of use. Two ways to check for plagiarism, like you can upload the text file from the computer and you can just copy paste the link. 50 plagiarism scans per day for registered users is allowed. And what are the cons is like one search per day for unregistered users they are given, and some more if you want to do they will ask you to subscribe. And the next tool is called copyleaks for only for educational purpose they used to have. Multiple file formats and languages are accepted. And variety of tools can be used, maybe like there are mobile app and Word format, all these can be accepted. And it right for the it accepted in which format, it may be like doc format or doc format, like all can be accepted here. And the major cons is like it will be accepting after the sign up procedure. And free page restriction is like only for the first 10 pages it can be checked for free. And the third tool is called paper writer. There are in that paper writer there are three tools are getting inbuilt, that is called proofreader, grammar check, and vocabulary builder, plagiarism checker. All these three are inbuilt in this tool called paper writer, and it is developed by industry experts. So fast result oriented, within a second you will be getting like. So this is another tool. And you cannot save the report. This is the major con this particular tool have. And plagiarism is another tool. Basically it is used in 190 plus languages, and plagiarism checked by URL and file upload, all these options are available here. They I have mentioned what are the format it is supporting, and through your browsers also you are able to upload your content. And the cons is limited plagiarism checks per day is there, and variety of plans they have mentioned for each and every searches also. Plagiarism checker is another tool, like they have detailed the guidelines given. It's very easy to check here. It's an online tool. Directly you can go by online by googling it, and you are able to upload your article and check the report. And plagium is a tool which is fundamentally a free plagiarism tool. It can different kind of searches and deep search can be done, free for up to 5,000 characters, not a 5,000 document, 5,000 characters for each time. It is having some limitation with the free features, and quick search deep options also. It is limited with that. Plag scan is another tool. This also includes three different area called plagiarism check, grammar check, and you can upload from any of the sources like Dropbox, Drive, and all. It's having some other thing. Flag tracker is another tool we have. Like Qtext, no subscriptions, is entirely it's free, no account registration, no, it can be done. It's having some basic features. And Viper is another tool. It's a desktop tool. You have to install in your desktop and it will run. So there is a restriction with the day-to-day basis, but a 100% free tool, you can make use of it. Now I'll go for some of the commercial tools which can be used for plagiarism checking. Turnitin is one of the commercial tool which is used by all the scientific people and the scientific institutions and higher education institutions. More than 15,000 institutions, and in 150 countries they are using this Turnitin as an important tool. Even if you going for any project applications, it will be searched through Turnitin and Authenticate. Authenticate is another tool which is totally clean about the project proposals also, and even for what a student project also it will go through, and it will give the clear-cut cross-reference results by using this Authenticate software. Another tool, this is the homepage for Authenticate, and another tool is called Urkun. Urkun is which is suggested by MHRD and Anna universities and all. Your content will be searched through this, and in this Urkun tool we have it will search for internet resources and all other content which are all available in internet. This is the homepage for that. You will be having different kind of access like web access and administrator access. It can be accessed through web-based tool as well as in the administrator tool it can be run. And the fact about these tools are is, even though this is a commercial tool, based on the coverage, based on the database linked, there is a performance issue with Urkund as well as with Turnitin and Authenticate. So my humble solution is, don't go for any open source tool. It make you some sort of awareness where your article may be plagiarized, but if it is served in any of the internet server, it's again create a very big issue. Not only with the open source tool, even the commercial tools like Turnitin, Authenticate, Urkund, they are also in their server. There is a chance of saving that article in the server. So what happens once it's saved in the server, the plagiarism percentage significance may be getting doubled or tripled whenever you are checking again and again. So you need to be consider this parameter before checking with the plagiarism detecting software. This is an important message you should understand whenever you are planning to check your content in the plagiarism detecting softwares. And the punishments for plagiarism is, there are various issues like public disclosure, loss of research funding, loss of professional stature, termination of employment, and legal action against. There are so many cases already happened in several universities that you're all very much aware. I don't want to go with a lot with the infringement issues. And what are the limitations of plagiarism detecting software? Is commercially available software are very costly. Limitation of database available for cross checking, and for example, if you go with Urkund is having some limitations of database. If you go for Turnitin coverage is a little bit higher compared to Urkund, like that. And time consuming to check the plagiarism using multiple sources with the human intervention. Original research work and data are made available to the third party. This is another issue which we normally worried about. So our work will be saved in their server, and in the third party, your work will be stored with. It may lead to the copyright violation. Plagiarism software can be fooled by making intelligent techniques like syntax, plagiarized portion of the article, like that may happen. Because human is very smart enough to do in which way it can be avoided, right? And next, common phrases and sentences also often as a plagiarized content. That is another issue. Normally, people faced off with the plagiarism software. These are the basic limitations we have with that. And what are the preventing strategies we can follow? Frame a clear policies with appropriate disciplinary action. Organize orientation program on policies regarding plagiarism research misconduct. Declaration of academic integrity should be taken from student and before handling the project works. Set up IR including research articles, dissertation and thesis, like that. And regulatory bodies like UGC, ACTE, DOT and all can come up with a policy to deal with the plagiarism, because there are so many controversies are there here, and so we need to concentrate with that. So these are the future further resources which I have gone through for working with this plagiarism. So people have a clear-cut idea with plagiarism, and predatory journals is a very much important. Every researcher and every author should understand the basic research indicators like H index and how to avoid the predatory journals, and to go write plagiarism pre-articles by using these sources. I think this session may give you some sort of awareness on how to deal with all these things. So we will be meeting in another session. Thank you. Do you have any questions? I'm happy to answer in the question answer session. Thanks a lot. Thank you so much for your patience listening.